In the first part of Mod 9, we are looking at the law of sines. And the law of sines is a tool that lets us solve a triangle, which means to find all the missing parts, if the triangle is oblique, which means it is not a right triangle. You use the law of sines when you know two sides and the non-included angle, or when you know two angles and the non-included side. In order for the law of sines to work, you must know one pair of an angle and the side opposite that angle. The law of sines tells us that the ratio of side A to the sine of angle A must be equal to side B to the sine of angle B must be equal to the ratio of side C to the sine of angle C. Our first example, we are given a triangle ABC with angle B equaling 79 degrees, angle C equaling 37 degrees, and side B equaling 21. We are to solve the triangle. The directions tell us to round the answers to the nearest tenth. When you are doing these problems, you want to make sure that you see that you have a pair of opposites, angle B and side B. We have to have that pair or we cannot use the law of sines. When you are looking at this, notice that we have two of the three angles of the triangle. So the first thing that we can find is the missing angle, which is angle A. So angle A equals 180 minus the 79 minus the 37, which will give us 64 degrees. So we now know all of our angles, but we don't know side A or side C. So when we are going to use the law of sines, we set up this ratio. So we're going to start with the pair that we have. We know side B, you put side over the sine of the angle has to equal, let's look for side A, just going alphabetically, side A over the sine of angle A, which we just found to be 64 degrees. Now we need to solve for A. So we need to cross multiply, which we can do here because we have a fraction equal to a fraction. If we cross multiply, we will have A times the sine of 79 equals 21 times the sine of 64. We need to solve this for A. So in order to do that, we're going to divide both sides by the sine of 79. So A equals 21 times the sine of 64 over the sine of 79. If you do that on your calculator, you should get, remember, round to the 10th, 19.2. So now the only thing that we are missing is side C. I recommend when you do these problems that you always use the given information because you know that that's correct. If you made some kind of a silly little error and you use the wrong number, then your last answer is going to be wrong. So I'm going back to my given of side B over the sine of angle B. Now I need to find side C over the sine of angle C is 37. Cross multiply, you're going to have 21 times the sine of 37 equals C times the sine of 79. This time we have to divide by that sine of 79. So C will equal 21 times the sine of 37 over the sine of 79. If you work that on your calculator and round to the 10th, you should get 12.9. For example 2, we are given the triangle ABC with angle A equals 25 degrees, angle C equals 120 degrees, and side B equals 34, and we are to solve the triangle. Again, rounding answers to the 10th. On this problem, what's a little different is that we are given side B, but not angle B. However, since we do know angle A and angle C, angle B is pretty easy to find. And that's the first thing that we must do because we need the pair of side and angle that go together. So to find angle B, we're going to take 180 minus 25 minus 120, and we get an angle B of 35 degrees. Now we need to find our two missing sides, and again, I'm just going to go alphabetically. So starting out with the ratio we know, we're going to put the side B, 34, over the sine of angle B, which we just said is 35 degrees. That has to equal side A, which is what we're looking for, over the sine of angle A, which is 25 degrees. Cross multiply, you're going to get A times the sine of 35 degrees equals 34 times the sine of 25 degrees. Divide by your sine of 35 and you get A equals 34 times the sine of 25 over the sine of 35. And doing that on your calculator, rounding to the 10th, you get A of 25.1. For side C, we're going to have 34 over the sine of 35 degrees equals side C over the sine of angle C, which we know is 120 degrees. Cross multiply, we're going to have C times the sine of 35 equals 34 times the sine of 120. Now divide by your sine of 35 and you get C equals 34 times the sine of 120 divided by the sine of 35. Work that out, you should get 51.3.